Hi everyone, Christine here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to all my new subscribers. And welcome to my Creative Times 155th edition, first and only day of sneak peeks. And so before I share with you all of my projects, let me share with you what we're sneak peeking today. Okay, first I wanted to share with you our Festive Holidays 2025 paper pad. Let me give you a quick overview. Isn't that pretty? And let me do a flip through for you. And so you get 4 each of each designs. Here's this one. It's sort of like a pink mauve snowflake design. And here's the back of that. Pretty. And here are some red and white snowflakes, and there's a pattern behind that, and here's the back of that. And here's like a blue snowflake kind of pattern, and here's the back of that. And here's a traditional green and white snowflakes, and here's the back of that. And this one, I know, is a red and pink stripe diagonal. And here's a more traditional red stripe. Love both of those. And then here's a more neutral color with snowflakes. And then here's the back of that. And so you get a total of 24 sheets. This is again 6 by 8.5 inches and 4 each of 6 designs. Isn't that pretty? Okay, next up we have 2 ephemera packs, and this first one is called Festive Gingers 1 Ephemera, and this comes with 59 pieces, and it's so super cute. Let me see if I can just bring all of this up to the camera so you can take a look. Aren't they super cute? I love this. And so again, there's 59 pieces, and I just love these. Aren't they cute? Emma did an amazing job, and of course, you know, I love the pink ones, and here's like a blue boy ginger in his hat. Super adorable. And here's some in their stockings. Aren't they cute? I love it. And I love that she included holly and berries and candy canes. And I love these frames too. So this is going to be so much fun to play with. Okay, and here's Festive Gingers 2 Ephemera. And let me give you a closer look here. And some of these images are the same as ephemera pack number 1. The images are a little bit bigger. And I'm going to show you a comparison in just a second. Okay, so for example, for these cars, this measures approximately 3 1/8 by 3 1/4, and then here's the little size. Isn't that cute? And this is about 2 2 1/4. So this is both of these are perfect for card making or tags. Super adorable. And let me give you another comparison. Here's this little girl, and she's about 2 5/8 by 1 1/2, and the ephemera pack number 1 is about 2 1/8 and 1 1/4. So super cute. I love it all. Okay, and there's 40 pieces in this pack. And next in our sneaky peeks today, we have the Fancy Fold card die. And this measures 7 7/8 by 4 3/4, the die, but once it's assembled, it's 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, so when it's assembled, this flaps over, and I'll show you my project in just a bit. And there's layers for the sides and the front. There's a couple layers here. Super pretty die. And also in our sneaky peek today, we have our new Christmas tag dies, and these measure approximately 2.5 by 3 inches. And they each have a layer, so you could do a shaker for them if you want. And there's little tags, so you can add 25 for December 25th. This one includes the word joy, and there's a couple little tags here too. And this one has a joy banner with these tiny little bows. Aren't they cute? I love it. And next, these next two dies, this one is called the Eyelet Belly Band die. So this is the same design as my favorite Eyelet Doily Die. And also we have our Ginger Belly Band die, and they both measure 8 inches by approximately 1 1/16. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's little gingers in this one here. Super cute. I love it. And last but not least, we have our new Ginger Doily dies. So they would cut out little gingers. And these are the same size as the Eyelet Doily dies. The only difference is this one has an outer layer, a shadow layer. And this will coordinate with the Eyelet Doily die, so you can use the small, medium, or large. And they measure, the smallest one measures 2 1/4, the medium is 3 1/8, and the largest is 4 1/8, and that's with the shadow layer. And also, let me share with you the other products that I used. I used the oval postage dies, and this will be back in stock next month. I just used the 2 smallest ones here. I also used the treat box and button dies. I just used this little star button. The 5 by 5 card die layers, I used the scallop layer and the zigzag stitch layer. The cozy holiday wishes, and this comes with the matching die set. I also used the pretty scallop ovals. Pretty scallop ovals and pretty oval layers. These are sold separately. The A2 fancy frame layers. The Ginger Easter 1 die, and I just use a tiny little bow for my gingers. The Peppermint candy dies, I only use these small ones here. The large treat bag die, and I also use the large treat bag add-ons. And the Ginger Boy and Girl Christmas add-ons, I use the bunny slippers, and I think that's it. Okay, starting with my treat bag, I use the large treat bag die as well as the large treat bag add-ons to create the box. And I love this pretty paper. And so I created my handle using the Ginger Belly Band die. Now it doesn't come with this layer, but I measured between the stitch lines, and they measure just slightly less than 3/8 of an inch. And the length of the belly band measures approximately 8 1/16. And so what I did was I just measured it 8 by 3/8 to get me that strip. And then I added some seam binding bows on the sides. And these are just some beads I got from my sweet friend Lady Cree, who has Fun Creations here on YouTube. Hi, my sweet friend. This little clay peppermint is from Temu, I believe. And I got this lobster clasp from Lisa Happy Crafter Shop. Okay, so on the front of the box, I used the new Ginger Doily die, and they do come with a shadow, and I use it here and there. And also just a reminder that these shadow layers will also fit your Eyelet Doily dies. And by the way, the medium is 3 1/8 of an inch. And then I use the Gingerbread Hugs and Kisses stamp and die, and I pop that up. Use my A2 fancy frame layer, my pretty scallop oval, and I used 4 die cuts, and I fussy cut them all. And so I have the gingerbread house, a little ginger, and the 2 trees in the back. And I use glitter glue for the stars and also for the snow. And the snow I used, I was reminded by Emma that I have this in my stash. I saw her use this on her project and I thought, oh, I have this. It's Cosmic Shimmer Fluffy Stuff. And I think I got it on Amazon many years ago. And let's see what else. And I used the Joy banner and I popped that up. And again, that's from the new Christmas tag dies, and this one's here. And this Joy banner also comes with Joy letters to layer on top of that. And then I added peppermints all over, and these peppermints here and this corner, that's the peppermint candy die. And on this sweet little Ginger here, her little bow is from the Ginger Easter 1 die. And then I just used a little candy cane from Hobby Lobby, and it was a little too long, so I just chopped it off at the bottom. And I got this many years ago, not sure if they still have it in stock. And let's see what else. And then I just used some trim, pom-pom trim I got from Michael's. And that's it. Isn't it super cute? Next, I created a 5x5 card using the 5x5 card layers. And so I just created my base using, I use watercolor cardstock. It's 140 pound. And then I just added a 5x5 red cardstock, and this Scallop oval is from the 5x5 card die layers. And this other layer is also, you can't see, but it's a stitched layer that's also part of the 5x5 card dies. And then again, I used from the Stampin' Die set, Gingerbread Hugs and Kisses, and the same Gingerbread Doily dies with the shadow. And then I A2 fancy frame layer and my pretty scallop oval. And this has 3 die cuts that I fussy cut. So you have the car one here, and then the 2 trees in the background. So I popped up the car, and this tree is a part of this die. And then the trees are flat, so it kind of looks like they're driving through the forest. And then I added peppermints here and there. Oh, I forgot to bring this die up. These little peppermints are from the Gingerbread House die, the first one that came out. And then again, I used the Ginger Easter 1 die to add these little bows here. And then my peppermint candy dies here and there, and just peppermints everywhere. And the same pom-pom trim from Michael's. And on the inside, I added that same scalloped die cut. And it says, Merry Christmas from our home to yours. Isn't that super cute? And next I wanted to show you my cards using the new fancy fold card die. So you would cut out your card die, and there's embossed lines here so you can fold it. And then there's also layers for each panel, and on the inside there's a base layer and then another eyelet layer, and I'll share with you what they look like. So here's the first one. I'll show you the red one first. Isn't that cute? So again, I used the Ginger Belly Band die, which is the bottom one here. And again, I added my foil layer here, which does not come with a die, but it's easy to cut out. It's just 3/8 of an inch. And then I have the Gingerbread Hugs and Kisses, Hugs and Candy Cane Kisses popped up. And then I just used the Gingerbread Doily die here and a couple die cuts. I fussy cut this one out with the stocking, and then also I added another from the Ephemera pack, the candy cane, and the other holly and berries. And oh, I forgot to bring up this. This is the thin bow die, which I double layered, and I added another peppermint there. Now this little bow came from the tag dies from the Joy banner. So I just took that and added it to her little hat. Isn't that cute? So this just slides off, And here's my card. So again, you have the bottom layer, base layer, and then you have your eyelet layer, and I have wishing you a Merry Christmas. And you could layer, if you wanted to, you could layer the inside, but just, and also on the back, but just be mindful when you're connecting your belly band together. Make sure you have enough room so you can slide it off and on. It doesn't need to connect, like you could glue it like from the sides here, if that makes sense. And the way I did it was, like I would take my belly band, I wish I had a piece of paper, and I would take it here, like let's say this, I had it here. And then I would just fold it over here, and then wherever it meets, let's say it was a little large, and then that's where you would glue it onto your focal piece. I hope that makes sense. So this is my red one. Okay, and then here's my pink one. Isn't she cute? So I believe this is from the Ephemera pack number 2, but you need to get both. They're so super cute. And so same thing on, and this time I use the Eyelet belly band. And so this is the same design as the Eyelet Doily Die. And again, I added the this 3/8 inch strip. It does not come with the die. And I added another a stamp here. It says Gingerbread Kisses, and I popped that up. And then I used the Gingerbread Doily Die and the shadow layer. And then I just kind of stacked them here and on the bottom. So it kind of looks like it's framing my image. And then I have my A2 Fancy Frame layer and my Pretty Scallop Oval and a couple of my candy dies. And then I have some trim here. Now I only glued it to the panel here. It's not glued like this. And that way I could slip it off like this. And here's my card. Oops. I put that there so it doesn't spread the ink. It says, "Have a sweet Christmas." And I just love this paper. Super cute. Okay, so these are my cards using the Fancy Fold card die. And last but not least, I wanted to share my Christmas tags, and that's using the Christmas tag dies. And so you got a little tree and a Christmas stocking and a little mitten, and they all come with a shadow layer, and they're all stitched, and they all measure approximately 2.5 by 3 inches. And you get the joy banner with the joy layers, and then you have these tiny little tags with stitched tag layers, and then you have the numbers 25 for Christmas. And so let me share with you this one. Isn't that cute? I love it. So super fast and simple to make. And so I just added my put my layers together, and this little red foil piece is from the oval postage die, which will be back in stock next month. And then I fussy cut my images, and this is the star from the treat bag and button dies. And then on the back I have my to from Wishing You a Merry Little Christmas from the Cozy stamp and die set. And then I have my stocking. Isn't it super cute? And so on the stocking, it comes with your shadow layer and then your stitch layer. Now for this top here, I just cut that up myself. See where it kind of meets like the bottom of the stocking? That's where I just cut it in white, and I cut it right there, just to so I can get that. Looks like it's a cuff. And then I have my 2 little tags, and then I have 25, which I popped up on foam. And I have some bells here, and a little, what do you call this, pin garment pin. And they all have seam binding with red and white twine, and this twine is from my sweet friend Erica, who is Scrap Diva 29. Hi, sweetie. And let's see, so that's that one, and it also says to from, wishing you a Merry Little Christmas. And then I have this one I did in foil, and I forgot to bring up this die. Anyway, so I created my layers using foil paper, and these little ornaments are from the and then what I did was I used the joy banner and I popped that up on foam, and I also used the letter layers for the letters, and then added little peppermints, and this little star is from the Treat Bag and Button dies, and also says to from, wishing you a Merry Christmas. So that's that one. And then my last one is a little mitten, and same thing here, it does not come with this white layer here. So and it's easy to tell, so I cut it out in white again and just cut it where it meets, looks like it's part of the cuff. So that's easy to do. And then I use my Postage Oval dies, and which again will be back in stock next month. And she's got a little bow from the Ginger Easter one, and there's two little holly and berries that I fussy cut from the Ephemera line, and another one of those candy canes from Hobby Lobby. And then I have more trim from Michael's, and then some more bells. Isn't it cute? So here are my sneak peeks for the 155th edition release. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for our release, which starts at 8 a.m. and ends on Friday at midnight. And don't forget to use any of our affiliate coupon codes for 15% off your entire order. And my coupon code is Christine, but please feel free to share the love with any of my design team sisters, and I'll leave all of their names down below. And I thank you all so much for using my code. I so appreciate that. And let's see, so we're going to be doing a YouTube hop, Instagram hop, and also on our new school social media site for a chance to win a $50 gift card to Emma's store, My Creative Time. And all you need to do is be a subscriber to all of our channels, leave a comment, be 18 years or older, and of course live in the US. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I thank you all so much for watching. Bye for now.